Welcome to My Wild Magic with me, your host, Adrienne Cobb. Join me on a journey back home to your truest self in this inspiring, enlightening, and entertaining show. After a near-death experience in a car crash at 15 years old, I made a choice to stay and brought back with me 3 simple truths that I found from the other side. Love is all there is. Our time is over here quicker than we think, and we all have a purpose, a soul blueprint to fulfill. On this show, you will find a higher purpose, a creative expression, and unique soul attributes that you can bring forth into this world. Stay tuned with me for the next hour and find your higher purpose on. Welcome. I am Adrienne Cobb, and you're listening to My Wild Magic with Adrienne on Transformation Talk Radio. Today we have with us Jennifer, and she is going to be talking us through a company that she found. So again, it's Jennifer Andrews, and she is the founder of Treppie. It's a for-profit online organization or company that is geared for empowering girls through entrepreneurship, which is such an amazing idea, I think. So Treppie specifically looks at the world through the lens of how it feels to identify as feminine in a business world largely constructed by the masculine. So while similar positioned grown-up sites foster creativity, community, commerce, and empowering makers to set their own prices and sell their goods, nothing similar existed for kids, or specifically for girls, which is where Jennifer comes in, bringing in her idea. So the other thing that I really love about it is Treppie is one part education, one part community, one part retailer. And it's an amazing, really what can happen when girl builds confidence through the natural learning curves of owning their own business. Mm-hmm. So Treppie also gives young girls the gift of connecting among their peers. Those who might share similar hopes and dreams, as well as some of the fears that come with taking creative risks. So Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show. And so if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came about this idea. It's a pretty amazing idea.
Thanks. Well, I am a Chicago native. I live in Denver. I've been here for almost 17 years. And my background actually got an undergrad and master's degree in speech language pathology. And I have done that, ever since I was graduated at 23. I loved it. It was a great career. I still do a lot of work with it. My husband and I have 2 boys. They're 16 and almost 14 now. And I definitely sensed about 5-6 years ago that I was looking for a change. I was looking for a shift. I'd kind of, dip my toe in the pool of nonprofit and enjoyed a lot of things that came with that, learned a great deal. But it didn't quite, scratch the itch for me. To be honest, I wasn't directly connected to the kids that I was raising money for. And having been in a career where I always directly worked with kids one-on-one or in small groups or something, it just didn't have the feeling of giving back the way I wanted to. I was so used to seeing that direct connection or feeling that direct connection and seeing growth. And so, one day about 5 years ago, I was testing a friend's daughter for something related to speech pathology. And as a thank you, she gave me a little handmade bag. And I was just blown away. I mean, at the time, I think she was 9 or 10. And I was blown away by her ability just to sew, to be honest.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
And the creativity behind this bag. I mean, it had this gorgeous zipper and it had patterns inside and out. She really thought about the function of it. And she came prepared for this whole speech on what I could do with it. And, she was so proud of it. That's what hit home for my heart center. And I just kept saying, you made this. And it just, I just kind of looked at her and said, you should sell these. And she hadn't, really thought of that at that point. The mom had kind of thought about it. So I kind of found some girls around the area and thought, why don't we just have like a holiday bazaar kind of thing? It was near the holiday time. And I thought I could get a few girls around and have a little fun party for them. And being in a house of boys. I welcome the feminine energy whenever I can in here.
Yeah.
And I ended up finding too many girls that were going to bring too many shoppers. And I wasn't able to hold the event in my house. We had to move to a restaurant.
Oh,
And ended up with, 18, 19 girls that came ready to learn to be business owners, and then all the shoppers they brought. And it was that day that I realized, wow, there's something here. There's something here for me. There's something here for them. There's something that I want to connect to with them. And so I just kept having markets every few months. And the numbers of the participants kept growing, and word kept spreading in the Denver area. And I was really having fun with it. And I kind of always had in the back of my head, well, maybe someday I'll take this online, to kind of get, how am I going to get out of the Denver area, to franchise, or to give the idea to other people in other cities, or to fly around the country. At that point, for me, wasn't really an option, having two younger boys. But, I really thought, well, online, somehow I could do this online, but it just hadn't presented itself. And then, as we all know, COVID, happened, and everybody had to pivot a little bit, or a lot. And we shut down our live markets and started building an online e-commerce platform for young girls.
that's so amazing. Yeah, I remember when I was in Chicago and living there for a while, I went to one of the warehouses downtown that did the the art shows and stuff. And I think they did it right around Christmas time. It's pretty famous for what it is.
Yeah.
And it was just so amazing seeing everybody's unique form of art. So, I'm looking at your stuff online, but, I can imagine just doing it live would be so amazing, and meeting the people, meeting the girls that actually are doing it too.
Yes. And that was a big draw for me. I mean, the work for the live markets, the workload of getting to a live market, and all the coordination. And, we would have a training or two before where I would get to work with the girls. Cause again, that's my heart center, meeting and connecting with those girls, and really getting to know them and know what they're, nervous about, and they're insecure about, and they're vulnerable with, and they're confident about, and they're happy about. That to me drove everything. And I really enjoyed that. And the day of the live markets was just as fantastic. And knowing, carrying that feeling and building this platform, I didn't want to lose that. And so part of what we offer at Treppie is mentorship. And we do that when a girl onboards, we do that through a live Zoom call. And it's usually not just one, it's usually a few, trying to get them to develop their product, think about their pricing, how to determine shipping, how to make a description of their product. So, it entices somebody to buy it. They understand the function of it. And really the work that the girl put into the design and creation of it. That part for me still has that heart center. I think it lets them, while we're on those calls, and even after they've uploaded and opened their storefront, to go back and get on another Zoom call with them and say, hey, this is great. Let's modify it like this. There's lots of opportunity for teachable moments, that a lot of the sites that I've personally sold off of, I shop through all the time, they don't have for girls like this, right? They're very adult centered. Which is great. They have a lot of benefits, but they need some direction. These are kids, and they can do it. These kids can do this. It just takes a little more focus and determination to, on the part of the adults around them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a great day and age too, to empower young girls, with all that. And then what's the age group that you work with in Treppie?
Usually 6 through, I say 18. At our live markets, we had a few 6-year-olds, they actually stood there and completely sold their products outright.
Wow.
It was amazing to watch.
Impressive.
The first one that came, I was, looked at the mom and was like, I think she can do this, and she sat there and she sold snow globes, and she had like 20 made, and she was the first person to sell out of them. I mean, she was darn cute,
Wow.
but
Impressive.
she had a great product. She had a great price point, and really knew how to kind of work her customer. So, so 6
Wow.
through 18 is usually what we service. I haven't yet
18.
onboarded a kid. The platform has just been live for about 4 weeks. And so far my youngest is 9.
I see. Okay. Yeah. And so I highly recommend anybody who's listening to the show, if you're still looking for Christmas presents, go to treppie.com. That's TREPPIE.com, treppie.com. Check out some of what the kids have. We're going to talk a little bit more about the gifts in just a minute. So how do you connect with the kids? Like, it sounds like in your career of doing the language work with them, that gave you were connecting that way, but it sounds like you've got a broader expanse of that now. So how do you come across the young girls now?
Meaning, your question is
How do you find them?
how
Yeah.
do I find them? So we're doing a number of things to onboard girls. We have social platforms that we connect with people, market to see, and put out ads saying, hey, do you know anyone that would like to join? A lot of it is right now, because we're so new still, just kind of kicking up the dirt. We're very grassroots, very homegrown right now still. So I'm really working my contacts here in Denver. I have a lot of contacts in Chicago, Arizona. So I've already been able to expand past the Denver market that I had with the live markets. That's absolutely thrilling to me. It was part of a whole reason why I started it. So, or got online. So it's starting to happen. And I think, I'm certainly giving the girls that have already onboarded incentives to bring on friends, bring them. We have a pop-up this Saturday, December 11th in Colorado at a local mall called Park Meadows Mall. We're partnering with Athleta, who supports our mission, thankfully, as we do theirs. And we're having a little pop-up. Some of the girls are going to be selling their products there from 1 to 4, and hopefully doing community outreach and just really one girl at a time, man. That's
Girl at a time. Okay. So it's just kind of word of mouth then,
word of
basically.
mouth. Yeah. One girl at a time. And
well, I'll tell you what.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to do a shout out to Oprah too, because I honestly, truly think you would be right up her alleyway of her backing that energy. And we got Nike here in Portland. I'd be happy to take your idea over to them. I think
thank you so much. That's
they
great.
do a lot as well. But we're fixing to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment with Jennifer Andrews and her company Treppie.com. Hey, welcome back. And we have with us today Jen Andrews. She has a company called Treppie.com. I highly recommend going and checking it out, where she is working with young girls and having young girls build their own products and teaching them business skills. And she is building this one child at a time. So if you know somebody who's interested in joining her online platform, some creative youngsters out there, girls anywhere from 6 to 18, check out Treppie.com, have them sign up. And she not only will start representing products and things that they make, but will also help to do mentoring work with them. And during the break, Jen was talking to me a little bit about her childhood and what was being taught to her and what wasn't. So could you just kind of share with the listeners right now, Jen, about how you were sort of raised and encouraged? I mean,
sure. I was saying that it was always very important to my mom, especially, that I had a way to support myself without the help of anybody else, that I had a degree. Education was very important in my family. And I always valued my career. I always valued being able to go out on my own, but we never talked about owning a business. No, my mom was a teacher. My dad was a real estate agent. And they worked very hard, but it was, they really wanted me to find something that I loved, but something that was going to give me security. Yeah. And so I could support myself. And so I think that, for whatever reason, girls back in my mom's age, that were raised with her were teachers, nurses, something along those lines. And business was never really talked about. We never really, I heard a lot about, and I even worked in my dad's real estate office. I heard a lot about that stuff later on in my late teens, early 20s, but it was never really brought up as entrepreneurship. I had, my grandfather, he invented the vertical blinds, which is our claim to fame in my family. So we have
vertical
this,
blinds.
right?
Gotta love them. Yeah.
Right. Entrepreneurship somewhere in the blood, down the line. But so, I really just, I think today is